Hey yogis, Josie here. Welcome to the YogaLocal podcast. This week we're going to talk about what we've been covering in class this week, which is all about living a vital life and the vital essences that we build and cultivate as part of our complete yoga practice. So I know I bang on about this quite a lot, but I shall continue to. Yoga is not just a practice about throwing some shapes on the mat. Okay, so yoga is way more than that. It's about giving us the tools, giving us the teachings and the practices that are going to excel our growth and move us towards a thriving life, a thriving, healthy, fulfilled, whole life. It's this amazing toolkit that has been mastered by many people over the years. This 5,000-year-old tradition. Some amazing tools for us to find ways to thrive, to ease our suffering, to move into our potential. But more than that, more than even just a toolkit, it's also a measuring stick. Yoga helps us come to our self on a daily basis. Hopefully that's what we're working towards anyway, but come to our mat on a daily basis and really reflect and take a good, strong, hard look at what choices we're making and whether those choices are moving us in a positive direction or keeping us stuck, keeping us in our comfort zone, in a place where we're familiar with, but we don't necessarily get any growth from that. So yoga is a way of measuring the efficacy of our choices. How are we doing? You know, every day is an opportunity to course correct. And the yoga tradition will teach us that every single choice that we make is moving us in either the direction of strong, vital essences or depleting our vital forces. So what am I talking about when I talk about these vital forces and how do we build them? Okay, so that's where this conversation is going. So stay with me. So there are three vital essences that yoga speaks to. We're covering them all as part of a complete yoga practice. But certain essences are more readily built in certain practices. So first of all, I just want to talk about Pran. Pran is the first vital essence. If you've been to any yoga classes at all, you'll have heard me talking about Pran, our vital essence that brings life in, brings it to us, brings in our life energy, right? Everything in nature has prana. Without prana, there is no life. So it's a really important essence for us to start cultivating. So prana is the first of the three, and we build that through our asana practice. So all asana is going to help us build prana. And we also build prana through the breath, which is why our practice this week has been really focused on the breath. We've been talking about love this month as part of, obviously it's February, and it's just nice to kind of bring some intentional kind of element to practice with the theme. But we can think of breath as this real support system that's unconditional. So just like an unconditional lover is always there for us, so is the breath, and we often take it for granted. So we've been really focusing on the breath as this unconditional lover and using the breath as a way to bring more life in. Okay, so pranayama is a way of building the breath also, not just the asana portion of the practice. And when we talk about pranayama, pranayama is kind of defined by whether there is an element of kumbhaka, which is breath retention, so holding the breath at the end of the inhale, holding the breath out at the end of the exhale, and being able to hold our mind steady in that space. And then we have the bandhas, okay, which are our way of containing that prana and building prana without allowing it to leak out and make us less pranically charged. So the locks are located at the throat, Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, and Mula Bandha at the root. And again, these practices will start to be introduced to you in a very systematic way, and that you can start to apply when you've done the work of grounding and you've got the mind steady. So Pran is the first of the vital essences. Build it through our asana practice, build it through pranayama. Oh, there's another one. Yeah. Just getting out in nature. Like, as I said earlier, the nature of prana is that it's in everything. Everything that is in nature has a pranic element to it. So one of the ways of increasing your kind of pranic capacity, filling your pranic tank, is getting out in nature. And if you've ever kind of felt the nourishment of being by the ocean on a windy day, or going out for a nice long walk in the forest with the trees and all the all that kind of essence of nature around you, you're kind of bringing that in. So that will help to build your pranic tank. So that's number one, prana. Second vital essence is Tejas. And we build this primarily in our rise practice and our fire practice. So because Tejas is the element of light, of fire, of heat. And it's a metabolizing force that helps us transform. So we bring the prana in, and then we need to assimilate, we need to process, we need to metabolize the information and the energy that's coming in a way that doesn't start to spin the mind. So how do we respond to that information? Are we kind of overreactive, or are we able to kind of take that information in, learn from it, or move beyond it, so that we're not carrying stuff around with us unnecessarily, wasting our energy on unhelpful thinking, on unhelpful activities, on unhelpful choices. So Tejas is the light that we bring to our practice. It's the illumination. We experience it through our back bending practice, through increasing the inhale retentions. It's a force which helps us to, it gives us a sense of motivation, right? That little bit of that heat that moves us into something else, like motivates you to go beyond where you are to where you want to be. So it's important that we have this quality, this essence that we're using as part of our practice. How do we cultivate it? Well, as I said, we use the rise practice. We work with back bending and the inhale. But don't get confused with fire and heat and light as having to get too intense, having to really get hot and sweaty and, finish your practice feeling completely wasted. That is not yoga. We build our energy, we build our pranic tank, and we metabolize in a way that doesn't exhaust us, doesn't leave us less than at the end of our practice. We want that light to carry us through and propel us and make us more capable. So things that we can work on are improving our concentration. I know it's really hard for a lot of us, and this is not kind of demonstrated in many modern yoga classes, like the importance of silence, the importance of slowing things down. Yes, we're in a rise practice and we're bringing in more light, we're bringing in more metabolization, more change, but we are also staying grounded in our awareness, and that can be really tricky for a lot of us because we don't like the silence. And for many of us, that's the tapas, that's the discipline, that's the part that we kind of shy away from. So anything that you're finding that you are that you know you need to do, but you shy away from, that is something that, you know, we want to be kind of being aware of. That's the tapas. That's something to stoke the fire and help to, you know, again, motivate change, stimulate that desire to go beyond, light yourself up, to see things differently. So that's Tejas. And finally we have Ojas. So Ojas is the nourishment that we extract from our life experience. So just to recap, we have prana that brings life force in. Tejas helps us to assimilate, to metabolize, to motivate change, to transform and transcend where we're currently at. And Ojas, it helps us to extract the nourishment from all that. It's really important to have a good reserve of Ojas, because Ojas is like the fuel for our practice. It's the protective force in a kind of physical way. It shows up as the fluid that protects us, our spinal column in our central nervous system. So the Ojas is a way of conducting our prana. So without Ojas, we can't move prana around our body. And without Ojas, we run the risk of depleting ourselves in terms of burning through our tissues and our cells, rather than using this fuel of Ojas, which you can kind of, well, this is how I think of it. I think of it as kindling. You know, if we haven't got kindling, like we're just trying to burn on ash, you know. So we want to have plenty of Ojas to keep that fire burning healthily, burning brightly. And we build Ojas, well, a number of ways. First of all, the first place that we start to build Ojas is in our anchor practice. So the forward folding, using the exhale, surrendering, letting go, bringing nourishment in a way that's healing and restoring. So forward folding, exhaling. And the big one for this month is bhakti. And bhakti is a Sanskrit word which means love and devotion. And I think we can all do with a big, huge helping in our practice of loving ourselves a little bit more, of approaching our practice from a place of self-love, understanding that we're important, that we deserve our own love. You know, sometimes we're not getting it from external sources. So, you know, we need to bring that in for ourselves. Yogis are encouraged to be self-reliant, and being able to give yourself what you need is really important. Let's not always be looking for external ways of fulfilling our needs. Let's give them to ourselves. Let's learn to give them to ourselves. And having that practice of building Ojas is building also our capacity for love and loving ourselves, and using that quality to help you excel, because there's going to be stuff that comes up during practice. There's the dense parts of who we are, the choices that we wish we hadn't made, the shadows that lurk in the dark corners that come up and be revealed through the light of our Tejas, right? So start bringing things in, start shining a light on them, things start to come up, and we need to have that capacity to be compassionate, bring and imbue our practice with a sense of love and understanding, and not just use it as another way to kind of to criticize. And as soon as the criticism comes in, we're going to be on kind of a reverse path to the self. So bring in the love, guys, bring in the Ojas, bring in the nourishment, and just see how that can just change everything in terms of the way you practice. Other ways to build Ojas. Yeah, it's not necessarily just something to think about when you're on the mat. I mean, how do you nourish yourself in life? How are you nourishing yourself with your actions, right? Primarily things like how you choose to fuel yourself, like the nourishment, the pran that's in your food. You know, are you bringing good, healthy, pranically charged food into your body? That's going to help increase Ojas. And experiences, you know, are you in good, healthy, loving relationships? And where are these relationships maybe draining your energy rather than fueling you and lighting you up and you know, helping you move to where you want to be? So yeah, so Ojas, Tejas and Pran. I hope that information serves you. If you would like to talk about this more, if you have some comments about, you know, where in your life you're at currently in terms of giving yourself that nourishment, how you feel about bringing some light to some of those dark places, if you're ready to light your fire, we really keen to have those conversations. So please put some comments down below, or come and chat in the studio. Next week, we're going to be moving into universal love. Okay, so this week was all about breath as our lover, our unconditional lover, and we're going to just extend that into the concept of universal love and being able to extend our love so that we can use it for self-healing, but then also as we become more pranically charged, more lit up and more loving, how that we extend that into our communities, into our relationships, and into the world and beyond. So sky's the limit. So hopefully I'll see you in practice for that. If you've got any questions, as I say, just let me know. Okay, bye for now.